the weapon of choice is no longer the AK-47. It is the AR-15, it is the Glock. These are guns that are manufactured in North America.
It is a deplorable condition. No human being in Jamaica, much less a senior couple, should be living in this condition.
I don't have anything. It is very hard for me.
Anita James looks outside her 2-bedroom wooden house, wondering where her next meal will come from. A single mother, she represents a growing number of people living below the poverty line in rural Jamaica.
This is Kerry and Ricketts' home in Windsor Park, St. Catherine.
Came out this morning, it was still flooded with sewage this time instead of rainwater. Normally the rainwater would run off in 5 to 10 minutes, but this time around it has been over 10 hours now with sewage running through my yard.
Yes, family, I don't know, it is Dr. Cookie again, you know. Alarm in one family, I don't know. People suffering at an alarming rate in Jamaica. You understand? The poverty struck Jamaica, you know. You understand me? I say the Prime Minister is calling on America for help with gun being imported into the country. You understand me? I come from. And me I say one lady wake up and a beer shit she a walk in. You understand me? Yard flood out with shit. You understand me? I say, but keep watching family, Dr. Cookie. Like, share, subscribe.
This house, buried beneath shrubs in Wilmarnie Terrace off Old Stony Hill Road in St. Andrew, was where Mrs. Williams and her husband Wilbert lived for over 2 decades. The two met after Hyacinth, who worked as a nurse for almost 50 years in the UK, was deported to Jamaica after living in that country since she was 10 years old.
I don't have anything. It is very hard for me.
Take time to get duckants and insect and things. So it just take time and get back.
On the inside, it's hard to distinguish trash from treasures. And above their heads, a ticking time bomb. As the stability of this roof remains questionable, worried for their safety, Mrs. Williams reached out to folks at the Jamaica Restorative Breakthrough Ministries seeking urgent help.
It is a deplorable condition. No human being in Jamaica, much less a senior couple, should be living in this condition. And of course, when we checked, there was no family, no children, nobody who could really provide that help. And we decided, listen, as a church, we have to come together.
Along with volunteers from the community, church members were able to clear the shrubs, fix the roof, paint the exterior, and renovate the inside. The couple also received new appliances and other household items.
I grow in a country community and we always join hands and heart to help in the community, to help each and every one.
Mrs. Williams also got an upgrade.
I feel happy that I could lay down in my house and don't have to get no water on me.
Reverend Mark Stewart preaches the importance of being your brother's keeper.
In a community where there are massive house structures around, it really saddens me. And if we could do more as community, as government, as entities like church and other business entities to look out for these kind of people in our community who are desperately in need.
With a ray of hope, I'm Kian Morgan.
Anita James looks outside her 2-bedroom wooden house, wondering where her next meal will come from. A single mother, she represents a growing number of people living below the poverty line in rural Jamaica.
They say home is where the heart is, and it's a place where family comes together. Unfortunately for this family of 9 living in Hanover, they're crying out for help because of their deplorable living condition.
Anita has been living in Hanover for over 3 decades. Life was always tough, but when her mother passed and her children's father walked away, things went downhill. Now she does just about anything, including scaling fish to make money to feed her family.
I really pay me, but sometimes it's better me to do it more and live without none. You understand? Because I would like to beg, so I try to do it to make a living.
As if those struggles were not enough, Miss James told me how she makes the pay work.
Sometimes every time I had from the same person to buy 3 pound fish to me. Yeah, 3 pound fish is $7.50. So I just get the rest now. I just come and buy island flour or rice or anything. My father plant banana motor, I cut banana land. Yeah.
So the $1,500 worth of food where you buy, how long is that?
Not 7 months time. That's why I end up having got to do the concrete work. Yeah, because I just like to make the children eat.
Just next door is her sister Paulette James, a member of the deaf community. Different house, but the same struggles. Her daughter Casey and Daly fought the tears as she recounted the family's struggles.
But I did grow up with from me. I got basic school, so she never really did have nobody to help her. So the internet should have like wash clothes and something, so just give you $50,000 sometime.
The COVID-19 pandemic made a hard life worse for people who were already poor. Questions have long been raised about the accuracy of the numbers in rural parishes. Nika Idram is Inspector of Poor in Hanover.
We have a younger persons being enrolled on the poor leave system based on unemployment and the fact that they have children that they need to take care of, as well as the elderly, because their situation and no one to take care of them. So we have those age group being highlighted.
According to data from the Hanover Municipal Corporation, there are 733 registered poor and 102 homeless persons living in the parish.
A community covered by sewage. The story this evening of how residents in Windsor St. Catherine have been affected by heavy rain on Saturday. Several farms have been damaged and residents are unable to leave their homes as sewage water remain at their doorsteps. Carrie-Ann Simpson reports.
It's bad enough to have your home flooded after hours of rain, but when the rain mixes with sewage, it's a total disaster. This is Carrie-Ann Ricketts' home in Windsor Park, St. Catherine.
Came out this morning, it was still flooded with sewage this time instead of rainwater. Normally the rainwater would run off in 5 to 10 minutes, but this time around it has been over 10 hours now with sewage running through my yard.
So 10 hours of misery and maneuvering the sewage water with her 2-year-old son, patiently waiting for the water to recede.
And me traversing through the water in and out is not really a good thing.
And from homes to farms, this farmer Orlando Brown woke up Sunday morning to see his vegetable field soaked by sewage.
I may expect the sewage to come up so, because they never clean a gully what they have.
And Mr. Brown said it has happened several times whenever it rains. Now he's appealing for help.
Next month I come man in a May man, first a May man, everything for a report. Cause 6 weeks, you know, daddy. 6 weeks. So you know I first a May. Everything I feel come in.
And then now
it's sewage. Just make them start dry up, everybody starts swibble up so.
Residents told us the source of the problem is a few meters away. They say a drainage system which was built in the community about 2 years ago has been taking sewage from the treatment plant into the community.
Every time that rain fall, everything come this side. Generally it was like we have to get a real heavy rain before the drain before we get the water come this side. It would generally like lag on the road. But since the drain big, everything that come from Old Harbour Road, anywhere up that side, it come down Sydenham Avenue in the drain, come straight to this drain, and then everything just end up here, end up in the people's yard.
And residents also fear the fresh water provided by Kankara Development could also be contaminated by the sewage.
You can't have sewer running raw sewage. It's not even treated sewage raw.
In the meantime, General Manager of Kankara Development Limited, Stephen Rampier, said a team has since been deployed to the community to help address the problem.
The guns fuel crime. They are an accelerant. They are needed to protect drugs that are transshipped through our borders. They are then turned to deal with other forms of criminal activities. We have seen in Jamaica where the weapon of choice is no longer the AK-47. It is the AR-15, it is the Glock. These are guns that are manufactured in North America.